Hello and welcome back to the Boxing Index podcast. This is our first podcast of the new year, so Happy New Year, 2021. And our first fight of the year comes very early, much earlier than normal, with Ryan Garcia against Luke Campbell. Should be a good one in the lightweight division. It's for the so whoever wins this then becomes the mandatory challenger for Devin Haney, which I think is the same situation in the Javier Fortuna fight against Linares. And so Luke Campbell, 33 years old. I mean, could age be a factor in this one? He's had quite a long time out of the ring. His last fight was against Lomachenko, and I think it was October of 2019. And obviously, lighter weight fighters tend to fade a little earlier, but I think he still looks good in the gym and everything with Shane McGuigan. He's kept fit, so hopefully age won't be too much of a factor. Ryan Garcia is obviously 22, 20-0, while Luke Campbell's 20-3. Having lost to Ivan Mendy, Linares, and Lomachenko. Ryan Garcia has never really been tested in his 20 fights, but I've actually reviewed some footage from both of the fighters to be able to give you sort of a breakdown of what I think is going to happen in the fight and how I think it's going to go. So first off, I watched what people said beforehand that was going to be Ryan Garcia's toughest fight to date against Romero Duno. And I noticed that Garcia starts very quickly. He threw 3 power shots within the first 10 seconds of the first round. And I also noticed that his timing is very good on the counter. He's very sharp. And as soon as the hands drop, he's in with the hook counter. And he seems to suit his opponents chasing him and him countering, rather than him following his opponents around the ring. And he really doesn't rest on his laurels either. When he does land a good shot, he's immediately looking for the next one, which means the opponent constantly has to stay vigilant. Even when they're buzzed, they've got to make sure that that another shot's not coming. I'd say you definitely can't stand directly in front of him, or he just comes forward with these relentless 1-2s. So you can't sort of come forward in straight lines either, or just keep throwing these 1-2s down your throat. And obviously he holds huge power. He's got first round KOs in his last 2 fights, and he's got 17 KOs overall in his 20 wins. Obviously the fight before that was against Francesco Fonseca. Again, Garcia was very vigilant and sharp at the start, but he seems to want to throw quite a few shots early to get his hands going maybe. So maybe that's something that Luke Campbell could look to exploit on the counter, because he seems to throw like a couple of just feeler shots. And obviously, because Luke Campbell's quite known for starting slow, so you might not be expecting that from Campbell if he does come out quickly with some counters. This is another fight where I realised that he definitely prefers to be countering off the back foot than being forced to come at his opponent and pick his own shots. So I think Campbell will need to show patience and not try and come at Garcia too much, and sometimes let Garcia come at him so that he can beat him at his own game almost. Another thing I noticed from that fight is Garcia's timing is just impeccable. The shot he throws for the knockout is great timing, huge power as well. If you come straight in, he'll land a fast, powerful left hook on you, so you got to watch out for that. I also thought I'd watch Garcia against Morales, because this was a fight which he only won by majority decision. It was a 10-rounder, one of the longest he's been. One thing I noticed in this fight was he hasn't got much of a defense apart from throwing a counter. He tends to want to defend with attack. So instead of actually getting his hands up or moving, head movement, anything like that, he just sort of throws to get people off him. So if you can avoid his counters, he doesn't really move his head, and his hands are quite low, and he just sort of backs off in a straight line. So any shots coming at him will probably land if you get past that counter. Although one thing I have to say is that this is slightly unfair, because I think he was only 18 when he fought Morales, and he was still with his old trainer, which was his dad, whereas now he's with obviously Eddie Reynoso, who's one of the most renowned trainers in world boxing, and he's massively improved his timing, accuracy, and the snap to his punches since he's linked up with Eddie Reynoso. And I think given the rate of his improvement, maybe Campbell getting him at this time is actually the perfect time, because if he keeps improving at his current rate, he'll be a very dangerous fighter by the time he's about 25. But I think with the Campbell fight now, I think maybe he's slightly rushing his career. And probably because of the following he's gained outside of the ring, people are sort of calling for him to have a big fight, even though he's only 22. I think what you can take from the Morales fight is that when Garcia was hurt in the 7th round, he did just drop his hands and sort of start sliding along the ropes. He looked very uncomfortable. His hands were down. He didn't really know what to do. Obviously, Morales didn't really have good enough footwork or killer instinct to pin him down and pounce on him, but I think Campbell will, and if he gets Garcia hurt. And it doesn't look like Garcia deals with being hurt very well. And also what I noticed was Morales buckled the legs of Garcia with a jab, so it doesn't look like he has the most incredible chin in the world. And then he sort of tried to hold, but it was a bit weak, and I don't think he's quite got his man strength yet, which is what Campbell will have. He's quite a compact fighter, so I think in those kind of situations he'll be able to shrug him off and start throwing hooks. I also noticed that Garcia takes quite a long time to recover. Obviously Morales didn't capitalise particularly well, but again I think Campbell could. And the body shots seem to really tire him out, so that could be another key aspect for Campbell, trying to land body shots early on. And I also watched Campbell against Lomachenko back, because I watched it at the time as well. I noticed that Campbell throws body shots and overhand lefts from the southpaw stance very well, which I think could work very well against Garcia, as he sort of stands up tall and straight. So he'll be very susceptible to those overhand lefts, especially because he doesn't have his hands up. Also, Campbell sort of keeps fighters guessing with feints and jabs, which I think he might not want to do against Garcia so much, because Garcia will see those jabs coming and counter straight away, so he might want to be a bit more patient with that, and maybe not throw so many shots. He want to throw more effective shots rather than volume. Campbell, similarly to Garcia, doesn't seem to have the best head movement either. He's quite open to the 1-2s, but he does tend to move out laterally when defending, which should thwart Garcia's quick combos, as he'll have to reset every time Campbell moves to the side. And I'm guessing from the southpaw stance, we'll see him moving out right a lot, so he's not to take away that Garcia right hand. Campbell's a tall lightweight, and he does probably prefer the outside in most of his fights, which is similar to Garcia, but he can fight on the inside as well, which I think will be crucial, because if he can use that a bit more and drag Garcia into that kind of fight, I think he wins that battle every time on the inside, because Garcia likes to keep it very clean and pretty on the outside. Campbell can also take a shot and recover very well. I think one of his best rounds against Lomachenko was the round after he was buzzed in the 6th round, so he had a very good 7th round. And I think that might surprise Garcia and slightly throw him off, because he's used to these one-punch KOs. So I think when he lands his best shot against Campbell and it maybe doesn't knock him out, I think that might startle him a little bit, and he won't really know where to go from there. And obviously Campbell's the stronger guy, so he'll want to take control of the ring and bully Garcia and make him fight where he wants it and how he wants it. So yeah, after watching all that footage back, I also watched a bit of the Linares fight. And I think I'm going to predict Luke Campbell rounds 9-12, which is 20-1 on Sky Bet at the moment. So I think that's definitely worth a little tipple. As a bit more of an in-depth prediction, I think we'll see Campbell moving out right, keeping Garcia moving in the opening 4 rounds, forcing Garcia to constantly reset and not get into a rhythm with his 1-2s that he likes to throw down the middle, which will take Garcia's dangerous right hand out, as I said before, with his southpaw stance. And then I think he'll try and come inside, land some body shots, but also when he does come inside, he's going to have to be vigilant for that Garcia check left hook. I think he'll try and hold Garcia on the inside as well, lean on him, tire him out in those first 4 rounds a lot, maybe even the first 6. I think the middle of the fight will be a little bit quieter, and then Campbell will come on late, test the chin of Garcia with a couple of overhand lefts and get him out of there between rounds 9-12. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that gave you some insight into the fight, and maybe give you a betting tip that you might win. So, yeah, I think you've got to favour Garcia early and Campbell late, basically, to put it simply. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Go check out all our content on www.boxingindex.com, or go follow us on Instagram or Twitter or at Boxing Index, or we've got a Facebook page and a TikTok as well. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with another podcast soon. And enjoy the fight tonight. Cheers. Bye.